I'd like to call this meeting of the Richland County's Committee on Committees to order on Monday, May 4th at 19:02. And item number 2 is roll call. We have a roll call of committee members.
Schoonover.
Here.
Kramer. Here. Engel. Engel.
Here.
Welty. Here. Thompson. Here. Severson.
Present.
Cooey.
Here.
You have a quorum, sir.
Wonderful. Agenda item number 3 is verification of open meetings law compliance. Was this meeting properly posted?
It was properly noted, posted on the website, at the clerk's office and on the bulletin board, sir.
All right. Moving on to agenda item number 4. This is just for committee on committee members, which are Supervisor Cooey, Supervisor Thompson, Supervisor Schoonover, Supervisor Welty, Supervisor Kramer, Supervisor Engel, and Supervisor Severson. They're the only ones that can make motions on this agenda and topics that we are discussing tonight. So moving on to agenda item number 4 is approval of our agenda. Motion by Supervisor Kramer, seconded by Supervisor Welty. Is there any discussion on our agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Move on to agenda item number 5, any public comment? This would be a time now where supervisors who are not on this committee could talk and give us, the committee on committees, a recommendation on their favorite committee assignments. We do have currently each committee on committee member has a copy of your assignments that you got to pick, the committees that you would like, that you favoritize or favorites, right? Yeah. So we do have this written down here. If you would like to change that or say, hey, I did like maybe public safety is my number 1, but I would really like natural resources as my number 1. This is the time right now that supervisors who are not on this committee could say that that's what they would like to do. So, and then if there were to be any comments during our committee meeting, we're not allowed to speak at this table. Correct, Corporation Counsel?
Yep. So, long story short, you can't chime in and say, hey, I want to be on the Natural Resources Committee if you're not part of the Committee on Committees. Now, during public comments, during your 3 minutes, is your time to say your piece if you want to say a piece. You don't have to, but this is your time.
Can't the Committee on Committees just approve the draft?
Refer that question to Corporation Counsel.
So we need to, however the committee decides to nominate individuals, we need to go through the process again. But you can't say we're going to use the draft that we voted on previously. If you do that, that would be generally a violation of meetings. So you need to remember, it doesn't matter the fact that you voted for the same people who have been elected. It's the process. You have to make sure the process is correct. I apologize. I understand that everybody wants to move it along, but if we don't do it that way, you're opening yourself up for more criticism than we already have.
So a question on this.
Supervisor Engel?
Yeah, so a question on that. Could we just say, have the list say that the people that we recommend, say, what do you think? And just move it that way.
Yes.
So move 6 or 7 people at the same time.
Yeah.
You can do that?
Yeah.
So
You can do it. It could be any list. It could be, doesn't have to be the list that you have. I mean, it doesn't have to be the previous list. It could be whatever list that you come up with. You could say, however, the 6 or 7, 9, 10, however many people need to be on the committee, whatever list that you're recommending is fine.
And then we could say we recommend passage is unanimous and move it quickly. That's possible.
Yeah, as long as there's no, I mean, people have to be afforded the opportunity to discuss, but yes,
We have to do that for each committee.
correct.
Correct. Thank you.
We're just doing standing committees, or are we doing all those subcommittees too? Subcommittee stuff.
That's why we're.
Mr. Perry, Supervisor Perry.
Supervisor Perry?
Is it okay to say, I like the committees I was on, picked on last week? I'd like to stay there.
As long as you don't say that.
Well, he can say that. He's not on the committee.
I'm gonna open the floor up, I guess, for public comment on our committee on committees. Supervisor Meyer,
I'll stay on the committees that I've been appointed to. That'd be fine with you. With me.
With this,
Mr. Petrie,
I concur with the other folks that like to recommend or that I liked how things were chosen.
Supervisor Miller, Supervisor Nolan,
I'm happy with the committees I'm on.
Second, that I'm comfortable with it.
I am as well.
I am too.
As am I.
I'm too.
yeah. Yep. All right, so everybody's had a chance to speak. Public comment, we're gonna move on to agenda item number 6 is discussion and possible action on nominations for appointments to various committees, boards, and commissions. So this is just for committee on committee members, and I think we're gonna start off with our executive and finance committee. That committee, we can only select 3 supervisors right now on this committee at large, just because the other 4 are the chairs of the standing committee. So, and the automatic members are Supervisor Severson and Supervisor Engel as a county board chair and vice chair on executive. So I guess I would open the floor to the committee on committees members to have a discussion on supervisors for the at-large members on executive and finance. If you look at our sheets here, there's quite a few people that put down for number 1 and number 2 for executive and finance.
Chair, before you start, I just need to remind everybody that we did pick alternates last time. And so we will need to pick alternates because the committee chairs will be picked at the next county board meeting, which will be immediately following this. And those committee chairs may or may not be the same as how they were voted last week. So we did pick alternates, and I would suggest, we need to pick alternates here as well.
Supervisor Welty?
I'd like to nominate Supervisor Schoonover, Supervisor Welty, Supervisor Perry as the at-large members, and the alternate 1 to be Tiffany Thompson, and alternate number 2, Steve Carroll.
So we had a motion by Supervisor Welty to nominate Supervisor Schoonover, Supervisor Welty, and Supervisor Perry, with alternates being Supervisor Thompson and Supervisor Carroll to the Executive and Finance Standing Committee. Is there a second to those nominations? I guess I can do the second for that. So Supervisor Schoonover seconds. I'm going to open the floor up for any discussion for committee members on that assignment. Is that okay? Yeah. All right. Then,
So, sorry, who was the second for that? I'm sorry. You.
So hearing no further comment, I'm going to call for a vote then. All those in favor of the Executive and Finance Committee with the motion for Randy Schoonover, Shirley Welty, Rod Perry, and the alternate Tiffany Thompson and Supervisor Carroll. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, say nay. Carries. We're moving on to Community and Health Services Standing Committee. This also does include the Pine Valley Committee also, or the former Pine Valley Committee. So they will be overseeing Pine Valley, and this is roughly a $20 million budget that they're going to oversee. So I would open the floor up right now to nominations for membership on community health services. And just note that there are 3 citizen members that belong to this committee also. So the floor is up to the committee on committees right now. Supervisor Thompson?
I would make a motion for Supervisor Mary Miller, Supervisor Sandra Kramer, Supervisor Larry Engel, Supervisor Welty, Supervisor Perry, and Supervisor Colin Shaw.
I'll second.
So there is a motion right now on the floor for nominations, I guess, for Supervisor Miller, Supervisor Engel, Supervisor Perry, Supervisor Welty, Supervisor Collins Johnsrud, Supervisor Kramer. Is that correct? Yes. All right, and we got a second by Supervisor Cooey. Is there any discussion on the appointment of the Community and Health Services Standing Committee? Hearing none, I'm going to call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to our next standing committee, which is Natural Resources Standing Committee. I'm going to open the floor for motions for that, nominations. Supervisor Welty.
I'd like to nominate for the Natural Resources Standing Committee Supervisor Caro, Supervisor Schoonover, Supervisor McKee, Supervisor Meyer, Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Perry, and Supervisor Walt Smith Taglia Petra. Sorry, I'll get it right someday.
Walt Smith is just fine.
Also,
So we got a motion by Supervisor Welty for Supervisor Caro, Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Schoonover, Supervisor Perry, Supervisor Meyer, Supervisor McKee, and Supervisor Walt Smith Taglia Petrie. Is that correct? All right, we got a second by Supervisor Cooey. Is there any discussion on Natural Resources Standing Committee? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Go on to our next standing committee, which is Public Works Standing Committee. Public Works Standing Committee oversees kind of our county parks, oversees our highway department, and oversees the county courthouse facilities. I would entertain a motion now or nominations for that committee. Supervisor Kramer?
I nominate Richard McKee, Shirley Welty, Tiffany Thompson, David Turk, Steve Williamson, Mark Cooey, and Daniel McGuire.
All right, so I have a motion by Supervisor Kramer for Supervisor Welty, Supervisor Williamson, right? Supervisor Turk, Supervisor McGuire, Supervisor Cooey, Supervisor Thompson, and Supervisor McKee. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, is there a second? Seconded by Supervisor Schoonover. Is there any discussion on that motion and nomination for Public Works Committee? Hearing none, then I will call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to our last standing committee that we have is Public Safety Standing Committee. This oversees our law enforcement and judicial and our courthouse stuff and emergency government and ambulance. Open the floor now for committee on committees members to make the recommendations.
I'll make the
Supervisor Schoonover.
I would like to nominate Steve Meyer, Kevin Nolan, Mary Miller, Bob Frank, Tiffany Thompson, Mary Johnsrud, and Shirley Welty.
All right, so I got a motion with Supervisor Schoonover for Supervisor Frank, Supervisor Welty, Supervisor Collins Johnsrud, Supervisor Myers, Supervisor Nolan, Supervisor Miller, and Supervisor Thompson. Is that correct, Supervisor Schoonover?
I believe so.
All right, is there a second? Seconded by Supervisor Thompson. Any discussion on our Public Safety Standing Committee? Sure.
We can't nominate either you or Larry for this, correct?
Good.
Could?
I'm not gonna
You're not.
accept it. But Larry might be into that if you want to. But it would have to be it'd have to be an amended, either Randy would have to make a motion amendment or we'd have to vote on this. How would that work?
You'd have to amend, someone would have to make a motion to amend the list by striking somebody's name out and replacing it with another name.
would rather not strike somebody's name out.
All right, is there any further discussion? Any more discussion? Hearing none, then I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify, so did I already read back who the membership was? Okay. So all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries for our Public Safety Standing Committee. We're gonna move on to our other boards and committees. We're gonna start off with our Aging Disability Resource Center of Eagle Country Regional Board. Right now, we have one county board supervisor that is present on there. Do we need to do all the citizen numbers too? No. So we do have one county board supervisor that is on there. I believe the previous person was Supervisor McKee. How is the committee on committees wishes?
Nominate Richard McKee.
We got a nomination for Richard McKee for the Aging and Disability Resource Center, Eagle Country Regional Board, seconded by Supervisor Schoonover. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no discussion, I'm going to call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Say nay, motion carries. Are there any other motions or nominations for the Aging and Disability Resource Center? Sorry. Regional Board? I get that, but I figured if somebody else wanted to make a motion. They did, voted, but if somebody, I guess, I don't know. All right, so we're gonna move on to our Aging and Disability Resource Advisory Committee. We do have one supervisor on that. That was on there previously, and that was Supervisor Engel. How's our committee's wishes? Supervisor Thompson?
I would nominate Mr.
So we have a nomination for Mr. Engel and seconded by Randy Schoonover. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Our Board of Adjustment doesn't have any, although there might be some supervisor names on here, those are all citizen appointed members, so there's no county board supervisors on that committee for Board of Adjustment. We don't need anything for our coordinating committee, CCS committee. Our County Fair Committee. Open the floor up for nominations for our Richland County Fair Committee. Supervisor Kramer?
Yes, I would like to nominate Randy Schoonover, Steve Meyer, Darlene Walsmith, Carrie Severs.
So we have a motion for Supervisor Myers, Supervisor Walsmith, Tagle Petrie, Supervisor Schoonover, Supervisor Severson. Is there a second? Seconded by Supervisor Welty. Is there any discussion on our County Fair Committee? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Our courthouse security, I think that's supposed to be the county board chair. There's no other county board supervisor on that committee. Our criminal justice coordinating committee. What is our committee on committees recommendations for that? The previous one was Supervisor Engel. Supervisor Welty.
I'd like to nominate Mary Collins Johnsrud to the Criminal Justice Coordinating.
So we have a motion for Mary Collins Johnsrud for our criminal justice coordinating committee. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Supervisor Kramer. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Our CST coordinating committee, we don't have anything for that. And our ethics board is for citizen members. Housing Authority Board, I believe. Yep. So there's two people for the Housing Authority Board, two county board supervisors. What is the committee's wishes? Supervisor Schoonover.
I'd like to nominate Kevin Nolan and Richard McKee.
So we have a motion for Supervisor Nolan and Supervisor McKee for our Housing Authority Board. Is there a second? Seconded by Supervisor Thompson. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, say nay. Carries. Our Land Information Council is one supervisor on that. Pleasure, Supervisor Kramer.
I will nominate Kevin Nolan.
So Supervisor Nolan's been nominated. Is there a second? Seconded by Supervisor Thompson. Further discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Our Local Emergency Planning Committee. Two county board supervisors that are present on that one. What is the committee's wishes? Supervisor Welty?
I'd like to nominate Tiffany Thompson and Carrie Severson to the Local Emergency Planning Committee.
So we have a motion by Supervisor Welty for Supervisor Thompson and Supervisor Severson. there any second? Seconded by Supervisor Schoonover. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Lower Wisconsin State Riverway Board that we have. That one? No. No. Okay. Our Mississippi Valley Health Services Commission. That kind of used to be a member of the Health and Human Services Committee, or the Community Health Services Board, but what is our committee on committee's wishes? Supervisor Thompson?
I'd like to nominate Supervisor Kevin Nolan.
We have a motion for Supervisor Nolan. Is there a second? Seconded by Supervisor Cooey. Any further discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Our Neighborhood Housing Services of Southwest Wisconsin, Supervisor Schoonover.
I would like to nominate the Honorable Rod Carey.
And I will second.
So we got a motion for Supervisor Perry and a seconded by Supervisor Kramer. Is there any discussion on the Neighborhood Housing Services of Southwest Wisconsin Committee? Or representation? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Our Nutrition Advisory Council, we do have, no, don't.
No.
Okay. Prosperity Southwest. Okay. One board member. It's whoever you guys would pick on
Shirley.
Prosperity
Shirley.
Southwest.
Chairman.
Shirley, go ahead.
I'd like to nominate Darlene Walsmith to take the feature, please.
So we got a motion for Supervisor Walsmith taking the Petrie for Prosperity Southwest. Is there a second? Seconded by Supervisor Kramer. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Got our Richland Center Library Board representation. We have a county board member sitting on that. What is your wish, Supervisor Kramer?
I wish to nominate Supervisor David Turk.
So Supervisor David Turk, is there seconded by Supervisor Schoonover? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Say nay. Motion carries. Richland Center Park Board. Supervisor Thompson.
Would like to nominate Schoonover, the Richland Center.
We have a motion for Supervisor Schoonover for Richland Center Park Board, seconded by Supervisor Cooey. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Southwest Wisconsin Community Action. You have a county board representative on that. Correct? Yes. All right. Supervisor Welty?
I'd like to nominate Bob Frank for the Southwest Community Action Program.
So we got a motion by Supervisor Welty for Supervisor Frank to be placed on the Southwest Wisconsin Community Action Program Committee as our representation, seconded by Supervisor Schoonover. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Our Southwest Wisconsin Library System Board. It's a pleasure. We have a representative from our board on there. Supervisor Kramer?
I would like to nominate Supervisor David Turk to the Southwest Library System Board.
We have a motion by Supervisor Kramer for Supervisor Turk to be our representative, seconded by Supervisor Schoonover. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Southwest Regional Planning Commission, there are 3 county board members that are on that board. I think the county board chair is an automatic member, so there are 2 openings for that one. Supervisor Welty.
I'd like to nominate Steve Caro and Bob Frank to the Southwest Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission.
We have a motion by Supervisor Welty for Supervisor Frank and Supervisor Caro to be our representatives to the Southwest Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Supervisor Cooey. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Our Simon's Natatorium Board, we have two supervisors, three, right? We have three supervisors that are on that committee. Supervisor Schoonover.
I'd like to nominate David Turk, Mary Miller, and Rod Perry.
And I will second.
We have a motion by Supervisor Schoonover for Supervisor Turk, Miller, and Perry, seconded by Supervisor Kramer. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes. Aye. Opposed say nay. Motion carries. It's our last page.
We're good.
It is.
Transportation Coordinating Committee, do we have anybody on that one? Representation, no. Our Tri-County Airport. We do have two supervisors that are representing us on that Tri-County Airport. Pleasure. Supervisor Welty.
To nominate Steve Williamson and Mark Cooey to the Tri-County Airport Commission.
Supervisor Welty nominates Supervisor Cooey and Supervisor Williamson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Supervisor Kramer. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Veteran Service Commission. Supervisor Schoonover.
I'd like to nominate Sandra Kramer.
Motion by Supervisor Kramer. Is there a second? Seconded by Supervisor Cooey. Just so the committee and committees is aware that the Veteran Service Commission, I believe, has to be a veteran, correctly? And Ms. Kramer does qualify for that.
Mr. Chair,
Yes?
I'm sorry, who seconded that one?
I did. Mr. Cooey.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed say nay. Motion carries. In our Viola Library Board, we do have a representative from the county board that sits on that. Supervisor Kramer.
I would like to nominate Supervisor Mary Miller to the Viola Library Board.
We have a nomination for Supervisor Miller. Is there a second? Seconded by Supervisor Thompson. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of Mary Miller signify by saying, the Viola Library Board signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. All right, and we do have one more appointment to the Viola Board. We do have to appoint a citizen member. Name is Zoe Bodiger. So we have a motion by Sadie Kramer, seconded by Tiffany Thompson for Zoe Bodinger. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Say nay. Motion carries.
I'm sorry, sir, Mr. Chair, who was the second to that one again?
That was
I have a motion, a first by Kramer, second by
Tiffany
Thompson. Thank you.
All right, our Library Planning Committee, we do have one county board supervisor that represents us there. Supervisor Thompson. Nomination by Supervisor Thompson for Supervisor McGuire. Is there a second? Seconded by Supervisor Schoonover. Mr. McGuire, how do you feel about that?
No, I'm half awake. I
Any
was like the 11th child with a family of 10 on Christmas Day.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Our Chapter 980 Committee. This committee is for placement for people who are registered sex offenders that are being released out into the community that meet certain criteria. So Supervisor Thompson.
Supervisor Kramer.
There's a motion by Supervisor Thompson for Supervisor Kramer. Is there a second? Supervisor Schoonover, seconds. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Our Campus Reconfiguration Committee, we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 members of the county board that do sit on that committee. What is your pleasure for committee on committees? What's your pleasure? Schoonover?
I would like to nominate the following supervisors: Larry Engel, David Turk, myself, Steve Williamson, Rod Perry, Steve Carroll, and Bob Frank.
So we have a motion by Supervisor Schoonover for the following supervisors: Supervisor Engel, Supervisor Turk, Supervisor Schoonover, Supervisor Williamson, Supervisor Perry, Supervisor Carroll, and Supervisor Frank. There's a second.
I will second.
Seconded by Supervisor Kramer. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. And we don't need to do the county facilities because I think that they just ended. So we do have our committee on committee assignments approved, and I believe now are gonna take another little quick recess for a couple minutes. And then we gotta convene back into county board, and we're gonna convene back into individual county committees in our standing committees.
We need to adjourn this.
Yes.
Okay, what's that?
I move to adjourn.
Okay, so we have a motion for adjournment from Supervisor Welty, seconded by Supervisor Thompson. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries.